So hello, everybody. Can you all hear me okay? Is the mic close enough? I'm always kind of like, is it close enough? Is it not? Am I scratchy? What's the deal? So hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Chloe Wurst Edger. I just got married, so there's that going for us, of course. And I am one of 5 career advisors in the Career Center here on campus. And so Career Center, obviously we focus a lot on career development and career exploration. So what does that mean for you? Possibly finding jobs part-time on campus, which I'm going to walk through that process right now. Utilizing your Handshake, which is our engineering system, our career system that we use to schedule appointments. Why would you want to schedule an appointment? Maybe to come see us about resumes, cover letters, things like that employers would need for you to apply for a job. You might have one on file, which is absolutely okay. If so, just bring it in and we can review it for you. So I'm going to show you how to go through that process. And then at the end of my small presentation, if you all have any questions, just let us know, okay? We're here to help you. Any questions before we get going? Pretty simple. Okay, so quick show of hands. Who here has heard of Handshake or that's been talked about somewhat? Yes? Okay, cool. Yeah, so where have you heard about Handshake and what do you all know about it so I don't repeat myself? So what have you heard about Handshake? So where did you hear it, if you don't mind me asking? Cool, okay, so student advisor, wonderful. You said a friend? Excellent, yeah, perfect. So as I said before, Handshake is our career management system we use to schedule appointments and find jobs here on campus, okay? And so what I am going to do, I have, of course, attached slides that have step-by-step processes of information, which is very boring. So what I thought I would do is actually show you all from the back end or the student end how you can actually find and search for jobs on campus, where you would apply for those jobs, as well as what application documents you would need. And then you all have the PowerPoint slide that if you need a step-by-step process to go through it, you're welcome to that, okay? Does that sound good? Awesome. All right, so jumping right into it here. So up on the screen, you'll see this is our homepage for the Career Center. All of the resources and services are accessible through the website. We can either give in-person appointments where you come meet us face-to-face, or if you prefer Zoom or Teams, we can do that as well, okay? Thank you. So couple things here. How do you find a job on campus, right? Really good question. And so when you Google, obviously, K-State Career Center and this homepage pops up, one of the things that I encourage you all to explore and spend some time on is the Students tab. Underneath Students, you'll go to Quick Links. From there, this will take you right into the Handshake login site. Now, Handshake login. If you are somebody who still enrolled, like currently trying to enroll, you might see that you might not have access to your account right away. If that is the case, my email is on that white card. If you haven't picked up a card or you came in before I pass these out, please come get my card. But if you read an email that says error or you cannot log into your Handshake account, please email me so that we can look at what is going on there. Normally, we usually grant access every Thursday of the week. So if you just did it this week or even last week, we do ask for your patience until this Thursday so we can repopulate it, and then hopefully you should have access, okay? Other than that, if you don't get access, you enroll today and you don't get access, email me, right, so that we can get access for you on the back end. Okay, so every Thursday is when we renew that, just to let you all know. Now, when you go in, log in through the student login, and what will happen is it'll ask you for your EID and your password. Okay, so once you type that in and you get the activation site, then you will see the home page here, okay? So from your dashboard, under the jobs section here on my left-hand side, this is where you will find all of the part-time jobs on campus that are available currently right now, okay? Now, couple suggestions on how you should filter these just to make it easier. Under all filters, give that a click. Go ahead under job type, select part-time and on campus. Then when you hit show results, it'll take you to all of the available part-time jobs on campus that are open as of right now. Okay, so as you can all see, there are several different units and departments on campus that are looking for workers. And so if any of these opportunities interest you, number one, definitely encourage you to apply. But if you want help with the application process or it's confusing, come talk to us so we can help you with that, okay? Just to give an example right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just click on one. This is probably is not. Let me do this one here. Yeah, so to give an example of what this would look like, every single job will post the application deadline, which of course is very important, but it will also give you the estimated pay and then the location, which as we know, after COVID, of course, several things are hybrid. And so just be sure, just based on your preference of modality, that you do check the work type and make sure that it aligns with your schedule, okay? But a couple different things here. Really, really easy. This is what I love about Handshake. You do not have to reach out to the individual employer, whoever is the supervisor, and ask them to apply. You can just, with your application documents, you can just apply here and it'll go directly to the unit here on campus, okay? So it kind of eliminates the middleman. You can apply through here, they get notified, and then that's how your application gets viewed, okay? So again, this might be the job that I like. I'll hit apply. This is what the application process will look like. You will have, I would say, essentially two things. They will ask you to attach a resume, which we're going to go over here in just a bit, or any other documents on campus. It could be your campus schedule to make sure that they can schedule time appropriately, or it can be a cover letter, okay? Oftentimes, some units will require a cover letter just to make sure that your necessary skills align with the functions that they want you to do, okay? Any questions about how to utilize Handshake or the filters to get to, or look at on part-time jobs on campus? I know that was a really kind of quick process, which is good. I mean, it's designed to be easier, but what part of this process might be confusing or that I need to run through again? Definitely ask me now so I can show you all. Yeah, any questions or thoughts about this? Okay, cool. Yeah, good crowd. I love the enthusiasm. Thank you all. I love it, yes. And so, as I mentioned before, a couple of different things here that I want you all, and there's several other students that I've worked with that have kind of brought this to my attention that I want to bring to you all. But if you notice down here below, and this is my account, okay, so my school year, even though my school year matches, the major and GPA shows an X. Here's the thing. With Handshake, they have new features built in that curate employers. Part of the curation process, which is the tailoring process, your skills to employers, is that they have created a box called candidate preferences, which is this box right here. Big thing with this though, I do not want you to look at the preference box and say, if you see an X, that discourages you from applying. Please apply anyways. Let me repeat that. If you see X's on your candidate preferences, which is this box right here on your profile, please still apply, because here's the thing. When the employer on campus curates or writes the job description, they may not have indicated a certain GPA level, and so what the system will do is, because it's blank, they will X it out on your preference sheet. So you might actually have the GPA requirements, your major would match, but if it reads X, it might just be a technical error on our side. Okay, so please apply if you are interested in, or email me and ask me questions and I can find out that information for you. Does that make sense? A lot of students have questions about this, or they'll say, Chloe, you know, my school year, my major doesn't match. I promise you, we are looking for jobs on campus, like lots of employers just across the division here at K-State. They are not going to turn people away, so please apply. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, last thing I want to show you before I turn it over to Stacy is a lot of students have questions about resumes. How do you build one? Chloe, do you have one on file that I can use? What are strategies to tailor my resume to the job description? Those are all things that you'll want to come in for an advising appointment, okay? But if you are somebody that would like to kind of work on these things by yourself and just need a template without any advising, this is gonna be for you. Let me go back here and show ya. Oh, let me do this, go back. So on our K-State Career Center site, I can't spell, I apologize today, I'm typing fast. Under that same Students tab and under Quick Links, we have this super awesome guide that we're very proud of. It's called the Resume and Interview Guide. Like I said, just located under Quick Links here. And what this will do is it'll take you two different guides we're working on them. They're both the same content, so either one you click is fine. But what this will do is it'll take you to a whole bunch of different resume samples, how to write a cover letter. This is something that I wanted to show you all. Like I said, you all, the QR code, the sticker that I just gave you all, if you scan that under the Career Center tab, under students, you'll have access to this PDF electronically. So every single person, with the exception of the few that didn't get a sticker when they came in, every single person right now who has the QR code sticker has access to this guide that I'm showing physically. If you want a physical copy, come to the Career Center, okay? We can have one. We just have limited physical prints. But every single person who has a sticker right now has access to this guide. But one of the things I did want to show you, which a lot of students, actually international students will come and talk to me about, is how to create a cover letter and how to format it properly. Okay, this right here, this page 6, please note it in your mind, ingrain it if you are somebody who needs a cover letter and needs to know how to write one, because this is definitely what we recommend for formatting. And then come on in, talk to me if you want me to look it over, or just email me if you have any questions. But like I said, this is on the QR code. If you have any questions about how to get to it from the QR code, just let me know at the end of this session and I'll walk through it. Okay? Yes? Yes, really good question. So that answer is going to be based on the employer. So some divisions here on campus don't require it. They just ask you for a copy of your class schedule. Other campuses, they do because they want to see how well your skills align with what you're wanting to apply for. And so in the, do you know that blue button that I clicked apply? Yeah, so when you click on that, it'll tell you on that step sheet whether or not you need one. But great question. Normally they are additive, so supplemental, but the employer will tell you if you do need one. Yeah, great question, great thoughts. What other thoughts do we have bouncing off that? Yes? Very good question. So here's the thing, it's at the discretion of the teacher who puts it on Handshake. So what I mean by that, if you cannot find a teaching or research position online, reach out to me so we can talk about connecting to a faculty mentor or your faculty advisor so that we can see which ones are available. So for example, like my biology department. So fun fact, just to let you all know, I am the career advisor for all of our undergraduate students in the College of Arts and Sciences. That's a really big load, but that is the caseload that I manage in the department. Our Career Center right now is separated by college. And so if you are an agriculture major, right? Your major falls in the College of Agriculture, you will see a person called Mary Ellen. That is your assigned advisor. Good news is we already have that worked out in CASIS, the registrar's office, and so you just have to worry about scheduling an appointment, and then we will direct you to the advisor. So you don't have to worry about selecting an advisor. We already have that pre-made. Does that make sense? But just to let you know, I am our international point contact for the Career Center. So any questions you have, you can't get a hold of somebody, you need a question about something looked over, Chloe, I don't know how to advise or schedule an advising appointment, you can email me. Like, I am definitely your person. You'll want to come reach out to me, okay? But you might not see me, just to let you know. You might see your other advisor who's assigned to that major. We're all trained in different disciplines of study. And so if your major is engineering or agriculture or architecture, I love you all, but that is not my area of expertise. You'll see the person who is experienced in that area. Okay, so it's not necessarily a free-for-all. We do have specialized areas based on our college programs, and then we tailor resumes based on what's required in that field. Does that make sense? Now, if you are somebody, really quickly, I know there's a question, really quickly, if you are somebody who does not have a resume, which was totally me, okay? That's absolutely okay. Email me, I'll send you a Word document that we have created that you just fill in, right? So you don't have to do any of the formatting or anything like that on Word document. We have copies of those. You do have to email me. And then we have what's called a studio, Career Studio, on the second floor that takes in drop-in appointments. So you don't have to schedule an appointment. You can come anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And that is just building a resume. Now, if you have one on file, yes, one second, yes. If you have one on file, you can schedule an appointment for a tailored advising appointment. The difference between building a resume and tailoring is, again, the job description. So if you're applying for a job, chances are you're gonna want your resume to align with every single bullet that's listed on the job description. That's called alignment, tailoring. I'm the person for that, okay? Where the advisors are the people for that. If you need a resume on file, studio. Definitely walk in or email me, get your document, and then we can go about that, okay? So definitely have lots of services available for everybody, depending on where we're at with the building. Okay, yes? Yes.
I don't have a resume,
Mhm.
so should I email you or just
Yes, definitely email me. I apologize, I did not, I guess I didn't see you come in, so that was my fault. Can you hand that to her? No, you're okay. That's absolutely fine. So my business card is on there. Definitely email me. I will send you that template that I was just talking about. And then I'll also connect you to Anthony Ybarra, who is our engineering assistant director. Okay, yeah, so he would be your personal contact. Yeah, engineering, heck yeah, course projects. Get it on the resume. Any other questions about that? I thought I saw a question back here. I don't want to ignore that person. Yes, yes. Yeah.
I'm here for like 5 months, so not that long.
Okay.
But I would still like to work, I guess.
Okay.
Still work if I'm here for 5 months.
Ooh, is that? Can they still?
She can still work on campus.
Okay.
But are you more asking, like, would somebody hire you for that long? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I misinterpreted.
No, it's like working.
Yeah.
So and also it's like graduation date, and I know that because I don't have a graduation date.
Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't give an option not applicable.
I would just put the end of the semester. Like, that's when you're finishing your time. I would just put that. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. Yes. Did that answer? Yes. Did that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. I
But
want
I
to make
think,
sure.
like, if you get an interview or if they ask for more things, like, that's where you can kind of tell them that you're an exchange student, you're here for just a few months, and you're wanting to have an experience on campus, that sort of thing, so.
Yeah. So just really quickly, that would be actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, like situationally, because that's going to be an example. You know the candidate's preference box that I told you? You might find that your major would have an X by it. Still apply, you know what I mean? So don't get discouraged by that preference. It's just a built-in algorithm that kind of logs to our registrar's office. So it has no reflection on you. Now, of course, if the job description says only hiring majors in agriculture, yeah, if you're a geology major, you know, you might want to consider that's a likely that you might not get that position if they're seeking certain people. Does that make sense? That's a little bit different story. But nonetheless, you might have some X's, still apply. Yeah, yes,
On that note,
yes.
how does it work with taxes if you're only here for like five months? The taxes are filled in January, right?
You file the forms are usually available starting in January, but you can mostly do them online. They used to be that you had to mail in the document, so you'd have to print it and then mail it to like back to the US. So yes, you'd still be required to do it, but you can do it electronically and then you'd have to mail the documents back to the US. So you get, if you work, you get a form called a W-2 that says how much you made and how much taxes were taken out while you were working. That comes to you electronically, or as you're doing your hiring paperwork, you want to note that you want that electronically, because then that way you can get it through your CASIS account or your HRIS account and have it with you, but yes, you would still be required to file them.
Yeah, I also, just for the record, this is exactly why we collaborate. I just want you all to know these individuals are the experts. So questions like that or anything that is related international, you can come to me, but I'll be completely honest. I'm going to turn around and say, have you visited Stacy or Bogey yet? You know what I mean? I'm going to turn around and say, have you visited ISSS? So please know that you can come to me with questions and I'll happily field them, but they are going to get kicked back. They are the experts. And so I would really appreciate any advice or questions you have about that, you take to them. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're on the same page, okay? Don't get frustrated if I turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I can't do that, okay? These are the people, all right? Any other questions or thoughts before I turn it over? Yeah, like I said, email me. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have problems with your Handshake account, you need to email me, okay? Please email me. Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you all.
Of course, of course. I just gotta find where I'm going. All right, so she did this very real time. Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this?
I'm so glad. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Also, the question know, even if you don't have an income, you still need to fill out the form about taxes. And if you will not work, you will not have a social security number, you still need to fill this form.
Yes, so the software that we purchase so many codes for students to use. Okay, so when you get into that software, it'll start asking you questions. Did you work? Did you do this? Did you do this? And it'll start filling in the appropriate form based on your situation. So if you say, no, I didn't ever have an income, no, I don't have a social, there's a form called an 8843 that it's gonna fill out for you, basically. There is something called an ITIN, which is an individual tax identification number, that you will most likely also get directed to have that assigned to you at the time you do your taxes. So the social, people that have income, they will use that as an identifier, because that's what your employer uses to say this is what we paid and that's what matches you up. People that don't have an income will get the ITIN along with filing their taxes.
Okay, last and final slide. If any of our services, if they do not apply to you, I encourage you to stop by our career closet. So all K-State students, kind of part of your package here, we offer all professional business outfits for your interviews. So if you are somebody that doesn't have a suit, tie, belts, accessories, shoes, blazers, you name it, come on into the Career Center. We will absolutely hook you up. That means we will give you free outfits. Now, a little bit of policy kind of around the clothes. All of these clothes have a one-time use policy, which means you will not find any clothes that are worn down, kind of used repetitively. And then also we go through and wash these clothes, right? So there's a whole cleaning process I just want you all to know. But a lot of these are donated by our sponsors and our career champions. And of course, other students on campus, lots of brand name clothing. I mean, it's definitely even showing up. This is nothing. This is JCPenney's right here, people. Target, okay? So we have brand names. So come by, get a free professional outfit. Like I said, it's all included in your student fees. So you'll definitely want to come by and check something out if you need something for your interviewing. Okay? Any questions about that? That is my last slide, I promise. Cool.
Hold on.
Okay. So like I said, Chloe, just let me know if you have any questions, okay? It's super awesome seeing you all.
You did promise, but is this something you want to talk about?
Yes, the studio. So, I apologize. I swear, this is the last slide. Okay, I promise. I will leave this room if it's not.
No, she won't.
This is our career studio. So if you do not have a resume on file, like I said, email me and ask for the template. I will send you the template. But if you need to build one from scratch, you don't have one on file. Second floor. This is our career studio. It's in the same building as the Career Center. Which, by the way, Chloe, where is this building? Oh my goodness, that was the second slide. I apologize. So we are located in the Bernie Family Welcome Center. So that big castle down at the bottom and the top, of course, the night and day view. You all are welcome. But this is actually right by, so you know the student union on campus? So it's just right across the street. So like I said, we're on the north side, and so that is on the right side of the castle. So if you're looking right at the castle, we're on the far right, the north side of the building. Okay, Bernie Family Welcome Center. Any questions? I promise that's the last slide. I promise. Okay, cool. I'll be hanging around. So let me know, come see me if you have any questions, okay?
Okay. No, you're good. There's so many things. Like it's sometimes easy to forget how many other things they do offer. So, okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit more in detail about some of the immigration-related things that come along once you have a job. So we do have this on our website, so all the information that I talk about is posted there. If we talk about forms, they're all on our website. So go check it out after this if you need to read through things a little bit more. So do I have any J1s in here? Yes, okay, perfect. So I'll talk about both. So both F1s and J1s are permitted to work on campus, as I said this morning. If you are a J1 that some other program sponsor issued your J1 documents, you must get verification from them as well. Some of them will allow it, they just require another letter that gives us permission to employ you. It's up to 20 hours a week while classes are in session. During breaks, so after the end of this semester, before the next semester begins with classes, there's about 30 days that you could work more than the 20 hours, or over the summer term, you can work more than 20 hours. Now, I will say that's immigration. K-State has policies that might limit you, okay? So when we say you could work full-time, a normal full-time job is 40 hours a week, okay? Going over 40 hours then starts coming in where people have to pay you overtime. So many places won't pay you over the 40 hours. They will limit you at the 40. But K-State also has some limits. If you're a student and in student positions, if you are enrolled, they also bring that limit down to like 30 hours. So it depends on your enrollment. So there are times when I might tell you, yes, you can work more than 20 hours, but then you go back to your department and then the other department that you're maybe working in a couple, and they may limit you. So even though I say yes, doesn't necessarily mean that K-State allows up to 80, right? There's still some limits that come into play. I said the part about the J's. The Social Security, again, this is something that Social Security Administration will only issue a social for those that are employed. You may have a bank or a cell phone company tell you that you are required to have a social for them to do any business with them. That is not true. It is easiest for them because most people they deal with here in the US have one, right? So it's an easy identifier for them to intake and keep. It's not required. So make sure that you're very clear with them of like, I'm not eligible for a social. Is there any way else that like you can help me get this set up? I will say most of the partners that we have that you'll see tomorrow at the resource fair, so the cell phone companies, the banks, they have been partners and they remain partners because they understand this. So if you're using kind of banks and cell phones outside of that, that's where you're probably gonna get more of the questions. We've also heard sometimes that apartments off campus, landlords will start to ask for your I-20s and think, like, technically they don't need those things. They have nothing to do with that part of it. And so it's just really important that you understand, like, you're not eligible for this unless you're gonna have a job. Other places will need to adjust based on what they're trying to get to. So as new students, you need to make sure that you've gone through our check-in, our process, make sure you're fully enrolled, because that's part of what we verify and check as we are preparing the letter that you need to go out to Social Security. We have to make sure CVIS is updated that says you're active, you're enrolled, and then we give you a letter. So this particular letter is what your department will get. Okay, so after they've probably given you an offer letter that is much more detailed about your salary. We just need you to do this template, which is on our website. So the departments go and they print it on letterhead and they they fill out your information. It's really important that your name on this letter matches all your other documents, okay? So if you have a first and a middle name, those two should both still be written kind of in the first name field of this document. If you have 2 last names and 2 first names, all of those names should be listed. Because when you go out to Social Security, they're gonna look at your passport, your visa, your I-20 or DS-2019, your I-94, and these letters. So the consistency is the key there. The other thing is that you have to have the job offer must be within 30 days of when you apply, okay? So if you're telling me now like, oh, I got a job offer for January, Social Security is not gonna process that request right now. You're gonna have to wait till later in the semester. The other thing back here that I forgot to mention was that, okay, you went through the checklist, you're enrolled, you also have to have been in the US for at least 10 days, okay? If you don't wait that long, it really could cause a delay because all the systems haven't yet synced up and been updated. So with this letter, you can have your department fill it out, print it on letterhead. You can scan it and email it to our main account, which is isss@ksu.edu. That comes into our workflow system and gets assigned to an advisor. Within about 3 days, you will get a message back that says, we've done this, the letter from ISSS is ready, and you do have to come pick up the original document. These 2 letters are the only originals, other than like your passport, that you have to have, okay? So they do have to be the originals that we printed out. So this is where we're located when you do have to come in and get your document. Again, we ask 3 to 5 business days, and these are all the things that we check and verify. So once we give you back the letter, the Social Security application starts as an online form. You'll fill out the online part of it, and then you actually have to then take your documents into the office. And the office is out on the west side of town. It's not close, so it's not within walking distance. You would definitely have to look into if there's an ATA bus route, if there's somebody from your department that could take you. Of course, there's Uber and things like that, but it is not something that we would suggest walking or trying to get to that way. So once you get it, it should take about 10 to 14 days is kind of the advertised time frame. If it takes much more than that, hopefully it's just the delay in like the printing of the card. But those that don't necessarily follow the checklist kind of point by point and don't do all those things and wait the right amount of days, those are the ones where we really see that there's delays in them getting the card, which delays them getting put on payroll, because K-State will not put you on payroll till you have your Social Security card. Even if your department says, oh, it's fine, you can start working before we get it, that is not true, okay? They will tell you it's okay for you to be in the lab until you have done that hiring paperwork. It is not legal for you or for us as an employer to have you in those positions, okay? That starts to violate a labor law, which is outside of what we're even talking about, but good for you to know because I know it happens. But to protect you, we don't want you to get in a position where you're being asked to do all these things and then you're never going to be compensated for it, right? That's the labor law side of it, is that we want you to be fairly compensated for the work that you're doing. Okay, so this is what the Social Security the number looks like. And the reason that statement is on there, and honestly, I don't even know if it still gets posted on the Social Security card because I haven't seen a new one in a long time. It's basically saying that document alone does not give you work authorization, right? So that document alone, you can't walk into any employer and just start working. It's basically kind of giving them information if they need to look at more to show that you're legally authorized to work, okay? So when you go to do your hiring paperwork, there's something called an I-9, and the liaison that's doing it will give you basically lists of things that you have to provide. So you have to provide identification of who you are, and then you have to show that you're legally authorized to work in the US. So there's various lists of documents that you could provide. This is one of them, but it's not the sole one that you could provide to say you're authorized. Okay, so once you receive it, you need to go give it to your department HR specialist, your human resource specialist that's doing your paperwork. Make sure you keep it in a safe place. If you lost it, you would basically have to go through the application process again. So you'd have to get both letters, you'd have to go out there. It's going to be the same number, but to get you that card reissued, you have to go through all of that again. Don't give your Social Security number out. Don't post pictures of it anywhere. It's something that is what people use to steal your identity. Once you have that number, they can really kind of create havoc for you. So keep it very private. It used to be when I was a student here, they would use the last 4 digits of your social as your student ID number, and they all that's how old I am. I'm really not that old, I swear. But that's something that they've learned, that was a huge violation of privacy, and caused a lot of issues that students were using that very private information for something in a student system that it does no longer happen. So, and then don't work off campus. I know that there's maybe a time that somebody would very easily say, hey, can you watch my dog? And I'll pay you $20. That's work, right? It doesn't seem like work, doesn't seem like it's consistent, but it's work. We've had students that kind of got into where they thought they could drive for Uber. That's all, even if it's just going around campus, it's not on campus work if it's for Uber, right? So there's different layers that may make you think it could work, or who would know? They will know, okay? It has to be K-State is your employer. If there's something that you feel like you don't think is labor or work, I would direct you to an immigration attorney. I am not going to start debating the whole labor law issue. But basically, any remuneration that they give you for a service is work, okay? There's this other horror story that years ago, a group of students, domestic and international, did an internship, okay? This was not here, by the way, this was at a different institution. they went and did the experience and nobody got paid, okay? So it was an unpaid experience, so everybody thought it was fine, no big deal. Well, years later, the domestic students actually sued the company to say that they thought they violated a labor law and that they should have been paid. The students won, which then meant the international students worked illegally, right? So it was a win for them, but not a win for the international students. So even if like you start talking to people about unpaid internships, if we can make CPT, curricular practical training, if it will fall in line with the way our policies are, so it's integral to your program, whether it is a paid or an unpaid experience, we want you to do the CPT because it covers you regardless of any of those outside factors, okay? So even if it's an unpaid experience, CPT may be something that we should do in case like you're paid for housing or you're paid for meals. That is a compensation that would be considered work. So all those questions that might come up as you start talking about your departments and the Career Center of internships and things like that, come back to us and make sure that, do you need to do any paperwork? The curricular practical training here at K-State is integral to your program. So the majority of programs, you actually have to enroll and get credit at the time that you do the experience. There's no real limit to CPT. The only limit is if you do full-time, which is over 20 hours, for 12 months, you then no longer are eligible for optional practical training later, okay? So you could do two summer semesters of full-time CPT for an internship and still have the OPT for later. Okay, so there are some limits, but we generally have students that if it works with their program and they get credit, we can usually make that an opportunity that could be advantageous to you. The CPT is processed through our office, so we take 7 to 10 business days, we look at everything, we verify your enrollment, and then we authorize the CPT. It does take some documents from your advisor because, again, of the integral nature to your academic program. The OPT, or the optional practical training, this is something that we are a part of that application process, so we have to give you an I-20 that says we recommend it, but that actually has to get mailed off to USCIS or uploaded to USCIS. It can take anywhere from 45 to 90 days for them to process, and it has a fee of $410. So again, that's kind of why students prefer to make CPT work if it's possible, and there are sometimes it's just not possible, right? Like if it's just a job and there's no integral tie to your program, then CPT isn't gonna work. But most students try to see if they can make the CPT work while their program is happening and save that OPT for after they graduate. Does that make sense? I know it's been a lot. All day today. But that's why we're here. So, what questions do you have?